If you've ever been the strong one, the dependable one, the person everyone calls when life falls apart, and one day realized that no one makes that same call for you, stay with this story. You might hear more of yourself in it than you expect. For a long time, I believed that being needed meant being valued. It wasn't something I said out loud, and if someone had asked me directly, I probably would have denied it. But deep down, I equated usefulness with love. If people needed me, it meant I mattered. If they depended on me, it meant I wouldn't be left behind. I was always the one who answered the phone, the one who drove across town late at night, the one who listened without interrupting. I knew everyone's problems, everyone's fears, everyone's disappointments. I carried stories that weren't mine, worries that didn't belong to me, and responsibilities no one had formally given me. I took them voluntarily because I thought that was what loyalty looked like. At first, it felt good. When someone said, "I don't know what I would do without you," something inside me settled. It felt like proof that I was important, proof that I was needed, proof that I had a place. But over time, something subtle began to change. When I tried to talk about my own struggles, there never seemed to be space. The conversation shifted back to someone else's crisis. If I hinted that I was tired, someone would laugh and say, "You? You're the strong one." And I would smile, because that was the role I had accepted. The reliable one, the steady one, the one who doesn't break. I told myself it didn't matter. I convinced myself that other people had bigger problems. I postponed my own emotions, like unfinished tasks, always telling myself I would deal with them later. Later never came. It happened slowly. I became the emotional support system for everyone around me, but I didn't build one for myself. I showed up for birthdays, for breakups, for job interviews, for hospital visits. I rearranged my schedule to make sure no one felt alone. And somehow, in all that rearranging, I removed myself from the equation. The turning point didn't come with a dramatic fight or a betrayal. It came quietly, on a night when I felt unusually empty. I had spent the day solving other people's problems, offering advice, making sure everyone was okay. When the house finally grew quiet, I realized something unsettling. I wasn't okay. I picked up my phone. I scrolled through names. People I had helped countless times. People who had told me I was like family. I sent a message. Nothing heavy. Just honest. "Hey, do you have a minute? I'm not feeling great." Some didn't reply. Others responded hours later with quick, distracted answers. One changed the subject entirely. No one asked twice. No one insisted. No one noticed that I needed more than a polite exchange. And in that silence, I understood something that took years to see. I was always there for them. But when I needed someone to stay for me, the room was empty. The pain wasn't loud. It wasn't anger. It was clarity. A kind of quiet realization that settles into your chest and refuses to leave. I asked myself a question I had avoided for a long time. Was I surrounded by people who cared about me, or by people who were simply used to my availability? There is a difference, and it is not a small one. When you never say no, people stop asking if you can. When you never show weakness, people assume you don't have any. When you make yourself endlessly available, your presence becomes expected rather than appreciated. I had trained everyone around me to see me as the stable one, the strong one, the dependable one. And in doing so, I had erased the part of me that needed support too. The hardest truth wasn't that they weren't there. The hardest truth was that I had never required them to be. I never asked clearly. I never insisted. I never allowed myself to take up emotional space. I thought that being low maintenance made me lovable. I thought that carrying everything quietly made me admirable. But admiration without reciprocity becomes loneliness. The first time I didn't answer a call immediately, I felt guilty. The first time I said, "I can't today," I felt anxious. My mind told me I was failing someone, but something deeper told me I was finally protecting myself. Some people reacted with surprise, others with disappointment, a few with subtle irritation, and that was revealing, because the ones who truly cared didn't disappear. They adjusted. They asked how I was doing. They noticed the shift. They stayed. The others faded. And that hurt. But it also simplified everything. I began to understand that being needed is not the same as being valued. Being depended on is not the same as being loved. And being the strong one does not mean you are not allowed to be vulnerable. I didn't become distant. I didn't stop caring. I still show up. I still listen. I still help. The difference is that now I include myself in the equation. If I am exhausted, I say it. If I am overwhelmed, I admit it. If I need support, I ask for it without apologizing. Because being there for everyone while abandoning yourself is not strength. It is slow self-erasure. And no one notices your disappearance when you vanish quietly. If this story resonates with you, if you have always been the one who stays and one day realized you are standing alone, write it in the comments. Not as a complaint, but as recognition. Sometimes naming it is the first step to changing it. And if you want more stories like this stories about the things we carry silently, subscribe to the channel. Here, we don't romanticize endless sacrifice. We learn how to care for others without losing ourselves. Because sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is stop being everyone's support system long enough to build your own.